obviously kind of like I'm talking about tonight, you could clinch the playoffs with a win. How much do you address that with the team? Is that something you explicitly talked about, or like where are your guys' heads at about that?
What do you think, Marissa?
Really?
Really? Okay. No, I mean, it's a must win, and we leave it at that. Yeah, we're still not in there. We still don't have an X by our names. So just, yeah, this game was just as important as our last game. That's it. Yeah. Oh, I'm done.
Um, Last game, I think you guys say a lot. Like you say, you guys are you feel dangerous team. And we ask you guys a lot. Like, are you surprised by the success you've had this season? As a team, do you feel like people have been sleeping on you guys like this whole season?
And I don't really care. I don't care if they're sleeping on us or they're prepared. I mean, again, I can't control other teams. So that's why we always stay focused on what we control. I think one of the best things about our team this year so far is they've been able to block out all the noise, and which I call the bullshit. Like they block all that stuff out because that has nothing to do with Dallas tonight. You know, Dallas we're focused on. It's a different team. Some of their players that got injured, they picked up new players. To me, they have a faster starting lineup than the last time we played them. They seem like they're playing a lot harder. I watched their game versus Minnesota, and to me, they're playing a lot more intense than the time that we played them. And so that's where I get my players to focus on is Dallas and not what everyone else is saying. Yeah.
Hi, Natalie.
Hi.
How did Monique come out of the game and feeling good physically? And can you continue to kind of push her a little bit more and see what her minutes can be and kind of gauge that each night, I guess?
Yeah, I'll just see how she feels when she's out there. You know, again, every game presents a different type of physicality. Like I said, energy. Dallas is playing harder than they were a week ago. So again, every minute, you know, I'll see. Usually, the first minute will tell me how she feels, and then after that, I can kind of gauge. But Mo plays extremely hard. She has that high energy, and that's what we need. Her voice, obviously, her rebounding, her defense inside, just her intensity. So we expect the same, obviously. But then obviously I just will play how the rhythm of the game goes and the units that have that synergy.
And how special was that ovation when she checked in? I mean, I forgot to ask that the other night, but
Yeah.
I mean, it was a huge roar.
Yes.
For not just for a second.
Yeah. And again, that's just how intentional our crowd is. You know, they understand how much we miss Mo and what she brings to our team. And so, yeah, just having that, I was wondering what was going on, you know, because I stay so locked in on the game, but I heard a big roar. I'm like, did Caitlin sub in and I didn't even know about, you know, I'm like, what is going on here? But no, I mean, that just shows how much, you know, they care about Mo, our fans, how much they are like understanding who we are. And that's how close we are too. Our fans are like our family right now. And that's what we love.
Coach, how tough is this iteration of the Dallas Wings to scout considering all the roster moves they've made and some of these players don't have a ton of WNBA game tape?
You go back into their college tape. So that's, like I said, I have really great assistants, brilliant, where they can dig deep. So yeah, we had to dig some college film up, some stats, because you could still see how they play. It's just on a different court. So it's not really anything different. We've done this from all of our coaches have experience from grabbing film. And then obviously you want to dig, you want to call around, you want to see like, what do you know about this person more just off the court? And so we just, as long as we do our homework, we're prepared, then we got to go out there and be the most connected team to beat them. Yeah.
Natalie, I think earlier this week I asked you what, I don't remember the words I was looking for, what you enjoyed most this year about coaching. And now I want to ask, what have you learned most this year, not only about yourself as a coach, but yourself as a person?
Not only, so both. Yeah. As a coach, and what have I learned as a coach and as a person? God, it's personal. What I learned about myself as a coach. Now that I'm getting a lot of feedback, especially, I had dinner with my mentor, Armand Hill last night, which is great for me because I get a lot of reflection. And he's honest with me, and he said, "You're intense." And he said, "You're intense the last game." So coming from him, who I think if you guys ever seen him coach, he's very intense. I didn't know that. I thought I was a little bit more joyous. You know, I thought I was a little bit more, I thought I had a smile on my face, but I've started to learn like I'm getting more intense. But you know why I'm doing that is because the players are allowing me to be myself. And that's what I told, I think you guys last time, that I'm proud that they are accepting me for who I am. They're allowing me to coach them hard, to tell them the truth, to cuss at them directly, in moments where I know that they need it. So I think that's what I'm learning about me as a coach, is that I'm more intense, and the more I feel that I'm loved and cared about in an environment, then I could be myself. Me as a person, I don't, I don't know. What have I learned about me as a person? That that I do need to care about my mental health as well. Um, there've always been moments where I've always like wanted to call my dad. Um, so I am a little bit proud that I've been able to survive. Um, because normally I tear up, I do cry, I still miss my dad, but there's moments where I've been able to like kind of hang in there and talk to my dad out loud, where usually I break down. And so I'm starting to really, I think, build a thicker skin, I think, as I'm going through this like healing process, because I know, like, I wish my dad was here, especially with my first job, being a head coach, and this was part of my dream, with him and a goal. So I'm starting to learn. I'm getting more resilient, with a tougher skin, but I'm very lucky that I have a great environment that is supporting me throughout this whole healing process. Yeah.
Natalie, I
No.
don't really want to ask another question after that, so I apologize for asking a question.
Okay.
With so many games throughout the season, I'm just curious about how you guys have balanced when you're able to schedule practices to get that development in versus when there's so many games you can't fit that in, and how you use games to continue to grow and develop while also executing. And then I guess part two of that is, with just a couple games left in the season, how do you use these games to continue to grow and develop in areas that you want to see that in?
Yeah, it was a science kind of like throughout the season for me to kind of navigate that with practicing, with using shoot arounds as practice, with using being at home compared to on the road. The main thing I would say, what me and my staff and my medical team did, was really pay attention to the loads and minutes of everything from practice to shoot arounds to in game. And you just have to pay attention. You got to pay attention. You got to care. Some people kind of just like, oh, well, she didn't play. Let's wait. No, because I learned too, like when I didn't play Caitlin in LA for a little bit, I'm like, man, they're losing their rhythm. So you got to care. You got to care about the players that don't get to play consistent minutes, and then what they need on the off days. And I have, like I said, I have a brilliant staff, but I have a staff that cares, that doesn't mind working every single day. They don't get days off as much as like they should, but they have worked every single day. We haven't had like one complete day off where I haven't texted them, called them, or they're on the floor because low minute players have to play. And our scout team, like our scout team has been there for us, obviously, when we're at home. They have to work every single day. So it takes a village. It takes medical, our staff, scout team, and we all have to care. And I think that's the biggest thing that I'm super proud of with our whole organization, is like everyone is showing up. Because some people could be like, I'm tired today, but everyone brings in good energy, and they really care about the player development piece as well. Yeah.
Natalie, you said you talked to your dad out loud. What would your dad say to you about a night like this?
You better fucking win. No, that's exactly what he would say. Like, I mean, the way my dad raised me, I didn't have a lot of choices. As much as I thought I did, but he raised me in a very tough environment, to where he made work extremely important. Hard work, that was a priority. That's what I know. That's what he built me on. And I also learned, like, when you work really, really hard, good things happen, and you get to control that too. So I'm super glad that I had a very strict dad. I mean, my dad could have just been like, oh yeah, you don't have to practice today. Nope. That was not an option. I had very limited choices, but again, I'm very grateful that he built me the way I am.
Hey, Coach. I'm just thinking about you've talked a lot about sort of building a thicker skin and toughness and the players pushing you and you pushing the players. I'm also wondering, with so many players that have sort of exceeded expectations and found a kind of belief that you have in them, how do you do that? How do you sort of draw them out of themselves or make them feel accepted or make them feel believed in?
You might have to ask them that. But I mean, I think it goes back to like our leadership, starting with Joe, like Joe allowing me to be myself. I think that helps. Me, Jess, and Ohema, like connecting before the season started. And we kind of talked about, we could push each other, which is great. We've all won in the areas that we've been in already, but like, how can we push each other? But again, still allow each other to be ourselves. Like, no one pushed me and said, hey, you have to fit in this square or you have to do this. So I think it starts with Joe, and then learning from leadership. That's what I try to pour into my players as well. And again, amazing staff. I can't talk about my staff enough. About the only way people can flourish is if people care about the improvement. And I think our coaches do a great job of holding them accountable, but also supporting and being that ear when they don't have good days. They don't have the day to feel like, I don't want to come in today. Like our coaches, and when you watch them even warm up in pregame, they have this joy about them that, you want to come in and work with our staff every single day because they love basketball, And so I think it's a big care factor. It's their hearts that really, I think, possibly will improve these players, I think. I don't know, ask them and maybe they'll have a different answer.
I just wanted to ask about Liz Kitley coming in here. What do you think she brings to this group?
High character. Our whole team is obviously built on, team before self, and they always put the team first, no matter what. Like I was just actually talking to Morgan, is like, we do have a lot of players that rather see their teammates succeed over themselves. And Liz embodies that. The time I was able to spend with Liz in Vegas, never was about her. It was always about the team. Hard worker, high IQ, and she's really funny. She's fucking funny. Like once you guys get her in an interview, she's super hilarious and she's easy to get along with. And so those are the type of people that you definitely always want to bring in. Yeah. So all right, thanks you guys.